Hi, and welcome back to the 18 Yards UCL show. In this segment, we'll preview and sort of give our take on the City versus Dortmund game. So I'm going to quickly sort of go first in this because I chose to go last in the other one. So in this game, again, a very interesting matchup. It's going to be really tough to decide, guys, which game to watch. I mean, both phenomenal
It's
games
very
tonight.
decided for us, man, because my sister's gonna want to watch.
Okay, fair. For us, it's decided. But okay, Ari's a Real fan. But I guess from a neutral perspective, it's going to be a tough game a tough sort of decision to make. But in regards to this game, I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup again. Um, Erling Haaland speaks for himself. We literally, I mean, game in game out, UCL is his forte. He's par excellence in this format. He is, obviously, apart from the speculation of where he's going and all, he has a lot to prove still. And while City has been in absolutely phenomenal form in the league, in the cups, and pretty much everywhere, I think obviously we have our fixture against them, so I don't want to hype them up too much. But I personally feel that Dortmund can do the job against City, because Dortmund has an explosive attack. In the UCL, a lot comes down to away goals. A lot comes down to, as Rayu mentioning the last game, it sort of comes down to that josh, it comes down to that hype the players have. In terms of that, I think Erling Haaland is the most sort of pumped up player. He's the most sort of he's the most his presence is felt in the field. He in attack, I think you give him one chance. City has a tendency to leak goals at times. If once they expose, they can leak goals, and I think they can do the trick. In terms of the team in general, obviously Dortmund has a very good midfield, but if you look at City's team overall, City, I mean, the odds would be in favor of City. But looking, if it was a league game, I'd sort of say City. But looking at it, since it's a UCL game, since it's over two legs, since away goals are so important, I think Dortmund will get the better of City by the end of the second leg.
So for me, I mean, head says City.
Yeah.
Heart says Dortmund. I mean, it's not so much a matter with the heart because I don't have so much a connection with Dortmund, but I want Dortmund to win. Therefore, I'm going to say Dortmund is going to win because I've decided that from now I'm going to predict what I want, not what I think. Um, so, so I think Dortmund. I hope Dortmund will win. Haaland, obviously going back to the club where his father played, heavily linked with them in the summer. Um, but he's up against probably the best defense in the world at the moment. Um, and he can do a job like Deep said. It'll be very tough. I think, especially tonight at the Etihad, they can get a goal. I'm not sure if they can get the win. I would say, I mean, what would prompt me to say that City can come out on top in this game is obviously that uh, over two legs, City can, I mean, they've got a better squad, better team. Dortmund has no Jadon Sancho, so it's not really looking good. So obviously, City are the favourites, and if you were to make a prediction, it would be City. But I would want Dortmund to win. Um, yeah, it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, KDB is going to be pulling the strings. Aguero has a point to prove. He always used to say that he won't leave City until they win the Champions League, and that's something that even Pep hasn't been able to achieve there yet. So let's see. It's going to be a very intriguing game. I think depending on how Dortmund approach it, Dortmund are not a team that would just sit back. They're also going to try and play. So it's going to be an interesting watch, like the other game tonight. What do you think? What are you thinking? City or Dortmund?
See, like you said, I want Dortmund to win because I want Haaland versus Mbappe semi-final. And obviously I want PSG to beat Bayern, but that's for another episode. But I want Dortmund to win, so I'm going to say Dortmund. But the thing is, City has been the best team in Europe this season, barring maybe Bayern. But Bayern have their ups and downs. But City have been phenomenal this entire season. Dortmund have struggled to find form when they needed it. I mean, obviously they're not even in the top four in the Bundesliga. They're struggling to get into top four in the Bundesliga, whereas City have already won the league. Not mathematically, but they've already won the league in probably the toughest league in the world. So obviously on paper City looks a much better side, but even given the past 2 years, City were favorites to beat Lyon, City were favorites to beat Tottenham, and they lost in the quarterfinals because Guardiola has this tendency to overthink in the quarterfinal game, and that brings upon doom for the entire club. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again, because this time I think Dortmund are a stronger opponent than Spurs of 2 years past, of Lyon last year. And obviously they have Erling Haaland, who even if he scores one goal away from home today, I think that's going to be a massive factor in the second fixture next week, when Dortmund play at home. So obviously, if City want to win, they need to just keep one man quiet. And if this man's quiet, Dortmund lose. If this man's not quiet, Dortmund have a great chance of beating City. But obviously, I want Dortmund to win, so I would say Dortmund. But City are the favorites in this tie.
Who are some of the players that you guys are looking forward to watching? For me, I've got Gio Reyna. I don't know if he's going to start or come off the bench, but Jude Bellingham definitely up there. I haven't seen Marco Reus play in a while, so I'm looking forward to that again. Obviously, with City you have the usual suspects: Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Aguero, Sterling, etc., etc. But are there any other players that you guys think people should keep their eyes out for?
I mean, again, obviously the usual players, Haaland and Sancho for me, because I think that link up is going to be really really interesting for me to watch against a City side, because obviously in their league they have been explosive, they have sort of found their rhythm, but it'll be really interesting to see how they sort of find their rhythm against a team like City, whether they can pull it off. In terms of Dortmund, again, some really really interesting players like Rai said, Jude Bellingham, Gio Reyna. But again, I don't know whether they'll start. I don't know whether they'll come off the bench.
I think Bellingham will start.
I think Bellingham has been starting for a lot of Dortmund games as well. So yeah, but it all comes down to the lineups. I think Aguero for City again has a huge point to prove this game in both the legs, in fact, or especially after the major announcement of him leaving, of course. So I think Aguero will also want to really really come out strong.
Right. And if I had to give my opinion, I think I would probably pick out of, obviously you've mentioned all the good players in Bellingham, Haaland, Royce, and obviously the entire City team is full of superstars. So if I had to pick one more player, I'd probably pick Rafael Guerrero of Dortmund, who's supposed to be really good. I haven't seen him much because I don't follow the Bundesliga that much, but I've seen a few Dortmund games in the Champions League, and he's been really good. He's going to start for Portugal in the Euros, so I'm really looking forward to see what he's capable of in the big games.
So before we end this segment again, let's do our quick predictions for the first leg of City Dortmund. I'm going last. Raihan.
1-1 or probably 2-1 City, but then Dortmund coming out on top.
Okay, 2-1 City. Okay,
Dortmund
wait,
coming
yeah.
out on top second.
Aari.
3-1 City, Haaland to score.
I'm going for a 2-1 Dortmund. A 2-1 Dortmund.
Massive prediction.
A 2-1 Dortmund away, and yeah, I think City will get the better of them in the second leg, but Dortmund will win the tie. So I'm going for a 2-1 Dortmund away to City. So let's sort of see our predictions. Huge games tonight. That sort of brings us to an end of this segment, and we'll be back with our usual podcast by the end of this week. Thank you, and
Tomorrow.
By tomorrow. Sorry. It's coming out. It's coming out tomorrow. Apologies.
the La Liga title race. How we'll obviously have an idea of how Madrid fares in tonight's games. How what impact Atletico Madrid's loss to Sevilla this weekend has had, and Aari will obviously be making a case on why Every game from now is a final.
And obviously, we have the big game on Sunday, the El Clasico.
Yeah.
That's
Brilliant.
a massive game.
Anyway, see you. Take care. Thank you, guys.